Hello, Stampers, and thanks for joining me this evening for some live stamping and creating. I have some more fun backgrounds to share with you, and featuring a stamp set that is it's our last chance to pick it up if you want the nuts and bolts. However, don't be discouraged by if you don't like this stamp set, because what I'm teaching tonight is really about how to make these really fun backgrounds. And I thought that this stamp set, I wanted to get a little more use out of it because I think it's absolutely adorable. Alrighty, so here are the cards. Now I had Jackson come in and give me his 2 cents, and he decided that these two are the best. This one he finally decided on. So this is the one I'm going to start with, which is, of course, the most complicated background. And he tends to like my complicated stamping. This one, I will show you just how I created the kind of distressed robot on there. And this one, I think, is kind of my favorite. So here we go. If you are joining me live, I would love for you to say hello and let me know that you are with me tonight and we can chat. And if you are on the replay, I'd love to know your comments on tonight's card. Okay, so I wanted to start with, let's see, Jackson liked this guy better. So I need that little line that he stands on. And this is a 2.5 by 2.5 piece of basic white paper. At least I think it's what basic white. All my old Whisper White is kind of all mixed in up there. And I tend to just grab. Okay, so to make sure that I can get this little line under his actual feet, I'm going to do a little test run here with this Memento ink, black ink. And I'm just going to try to line up his feet on that line and see how close I came. Pretty close, I think. Okay, so now let's see if I can get this to be right on his feet. This is pretty low, so I'm going to come like up to his ankles with the top of the stamp. And that is pretty close. And if I can get it that close on here, I think I'll be really happy. So again, 2.5 by 2.5. I need to get this inked up a little bit more. He is pretty cute. And his little standing shadow. Close. Okay, I think that's it for the black for now. And let's go ahead and get him colored in. I think I used smoky slate, light and dark, and then I also used the bronze marker. I originally grabbed my soft suede, but it was kind of dried up. All right, so I'm going to start with the dark smoky slate. Let's see if I'm doing okay over here. Yep, I'm doing okay. And we'll just add a little of the dark smoky slate right along the lines. Just kind of gives them a little dimension. And then we'll color in with the light smoky slate. And I think I'll do his little hands. in that color also. Is this dark? No, it's light. Looks lighter than the dark, doesn't it? That says dark. So we saw Maverick today. Jackson and I went to see Maverick. It was fabulous. Loved it so much. Very exciting airplane flying scenes. Just all seems to be looking one color. This one seems to be almost darker than my dark. Don't know what's up with that, but I'm just going to come in and layer up some more with this one. And now with the bronze. I don't know if the parts on a robot would ever be this color bronze, but it doesn't matter. I think it looks cute to have more than one color. And then I'm gonna make his flower red just because I can. So if you pick this video up in the replay, would you let me know if you have nuts and bolts? Oh, and by the way, at the end of the video, when I'm done showing you the backgrounds, I am going to share with you 25 samples of cards that I've made with retiring stamp sets. So if you are interested in getting those before they go away, you have until the end of June to do that. And so now I want to come in with a little black around the edges. So I'm going to use a sponge dauber for this. And then I'm also going to use crumb cake. Oops, I didn't really want to use Stays On. Why do I have that out? Oh, because I grabbed it, that's why. Alrighty, crumb cake. And a blending brush. So I set out to try and do something that was like steampunk, and I'm not really an expert, so I did a Google search to kind of see what steampunk looked like, and that's how I came up with this particular background. Okay, so now our little robot is ready, and I'm done with these, so I'm going to get them out of my way. Oh, this was Sweet Sorbet, and used the dark, and these were Smoky Slate and bronze. So now I need a piece of, this is going to be our card base. It is soft suede. And then I need this. I want to make sure it's the right size. Yep. So this was cut to 4 by 5 1/4. So that's what I'm going to be layering up the background images on. And what I started with was actually from Artistically Inked. I used this large image here. I'm done with the sponge numbers for a second. See, will it fit on here? close enough. And with the crumb cake, so I want this image to go all over, and it really helps to kind of grunge things up. And it's going to be a lot of layering. So that's the way we're going to start. I think I'm going to stick with that ink color. And then from Ranunculus Romance, I'm going to use this little scripty stamp. And just kind of do this all over. And do it horizontally and vertically. I got one upside down, that's good. All right. Now I'm going to be using the masks that are also retiring. So these are two of them. And these come with those really cool butterfly. That light is kind of harsh and you can't really see that, can you? Let me come in a little closer and see if that helps. Maybe just need to turn the light away. Well, it looks good on my big screen, but I'm having right in front of me what I see is going on Facebook is looking a little weird. So if you're joining me live, let me know if you're having a hard time seeing that background and the colors that I'm using on it. All right, so I'm going to start with this parakeet party, and we're going to do more with the brush. And I want to get that shiny side. I don't want to do on the shiny side. Shiny side feels, I don't know, like the edge of the paper that seems to be sticking up when you cut it. That part I always want to put down, and that's what I feel on the shiny side. So I don't know if there's a right or wrong way, but that's what feels, this is what feels right to me. All right, so I'm not going to try to get this all over, so I'm just holding it down with my left hand, and you can see I'm just doing it in some random spots. And if it gets off, that is not a problem. And there we go. Now let's do the Tahitian Tide with the flowers. And I'm mostly just doing this to show you ways to do kind of layered up backgrounds. And you don't have to do it grungy. If you just choose stamps that are, is this on the right side? Yeah. Stamps that are, more to your taste or more to your style than, say, the grungier ones, or you don't like the idea of using flowers with this grungy stuff, then just change it up to whatever masks you like to use. So I'm going to try to line that up again, although that's not essential. And get a little more of that blue on here. Okay. And now I will use the Sweet Sorbet. So those last three colors are all part of our in colors for 22, 24. And I'm going to use this one and this postage stamp. don't know if I'm done with those brushes, but I'm going to get them out of the way. All right, so do a couple of these right there. And now, oh yeah, the heart. So just cute little pair of hearts right there. Let's add some of those in, even though I'm not using the robot with the hearts. I think the hearts would be cute anyway. And now with the black, back to the black, I'm going to add the postage stamp. Let's see, how did I do this the last time? I kind of liked it. Okay. Now a little bit of inking around the edges. So back with the brush and back to crumb cake, which I've lost. There it is. So for those of you who are familiar with steampunk, do you think this fits the bill or not? Or is it just grungy? Let me know in the comments what you think. All right, I think that is going to do it. Oh no, we need some dots. So the dots that I'm using are from Quiet Meadow, but if you have dots from other stamp sets, any dots will do. But I think anytime you make a layered up background like this, I think that dots really add something. Spots, dots, splatters. I know you've seen me do splatters a lot with my marker. Good, good, good. All right. I think that does it. I think we're ready to layer this up. So how does this open? Make sure we've got this going on there the right way. There we go. And some dimensionals. So if you are inspired to try a mashed up background like this, either steampunk or grunge or any other type of style, and you want to show me how I've inspired you, I would love to see what you create. And you could post it on Rosie Scrapper Stampers, my Facebook group. There is, of course, if you're on Facebook, on Stampin' Up with Kelly, my Facebook site, then there should be a link to the page there on my homepage. And if you are there, cute. So here's the one with the heart, and there's the one with the flower. Quite similar. This one looks a little grungier. I must have spent more time adding some more of that crumb cake all over. Actually, I think after I finished stamping, I came back in with this stamp on the original. So, can you tell a difference? Do you have a preference on which one you liked? I got a little more black on this one on the edge, didn't I? Okay, let's move on to this next one. This is what I'm going to start with, and then it's going to go on a crumb cake card base that is going to get, I'm going to run through the Big Shot. So I need this paper back, and I'm just going to sponge on some ink again. This time, Sweet Sorbet. Better put the lid on this. And I probably should clean up some of these, or at least get some of these stamps away from me so I don't get my arms in them. Ooh, throwing brushes. All right, so I'm just going to do a brush over at the top. Just kind of move that color down halfway, and I'll come back in a little bit at the top, and this time I won't come as far down. So I want this, fairly dark up here, fairly true to the ink color, like that. And then I'm just going to turn this around too, so I don't bring in that red ink. With the crumb cake, trying to find my mouse to get rid of this. And let's do the same thing with the crumb cake. Now I'm going to use a corner rounder, and I think the corner rounder stamp may have retired, but corner rounders are pretty easy to find if you don't already have one in your stash. They are wonderful scrapbooking, card making tools to have. To come up, I came down pretty low with that red, but that's okay. Very cool. So I may not finish this card all the way, just kind of showing you how I'm doing this, the background, because what I'm going to do with the robot is fussy cut him out. All right, so I'm going to use this Time Worn. I think that's the name of this embossing folder. So Time Worn right there. And let me put the card out here for you to see, because I'm going to grab I'm just going to do this over here. As I knock things off my desk. Oops, I should have done the corners first. Took some muscle tonight. All right, so there we go with that. And then I also am going to be running the card base through with the Stitch with Whimsy dies. Aren't those fun? So it just puts that little bit of stitching around your card. Now this card is cut like this, so this will be pretty easy to maneuver through the cut and emboss machine. I'm doing this kind of fast, so I hope I'm getting it straight. almost done. There we go. Isn't that cool? Love these dies. Alrighty, so let me grab my corner rounder. I have one under my desk here. It is not the Stampin' Up! One, but it is going to have to do for now. All right. Now, I did forget to stamp on my Greetings Kind Human. So what I'll do instead is grab a piece of crumb cake paper. This is just a scrap because I made some mistakes, and stamp that greeting on a piece of crumb cake instead. So I'm kind of eyeballing that. And then let's get out that Greetings Kind Human. And I'm going to use this one. So I'm just going to take that stamp off of there. So I'm just trying to line, so I've got my stamp lined up with my lines, and now I'm looking at these letters and trying to line them up with the lines that I can see through right there. So then if I line up the stamp with the paper, then it should come out pretty straight. It is a good idea to test it first, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. There, so that would be a good spot for me to just kind of cover up and line that up again. Cool. Now it's kind of lower than I would like, so I'm going to grab a Post-it note over here. To hold on to that. Oops, that's the other side I want to hold on to. Excuse me. And then trim off a little bit of that, which you could have easily done with a pair of scissors, but I tend to not cut very straight with a pair of scissors. You could also just cut this whole thing out. Now I'm going to grab some paper snips. And trim that off, and then that also. And that's how I will deal with that little mistake. Okay. So I have one guy that's already, so I could color him in, and there's how I do that background. And then I would cut him all the way out to create that card. And then I think I can do this without showing you, but this you can see looks like the background. I just did more of that stenciling. So for this background, you can see that I only did the stenciling, no other stamping at all. So it's cleaner, you know, a little more, I don't know. Well, it's not as grungy. And then stamped the center of the rainbow on that paper and cut it out. So it had kind of tied those in. And then this is from a different stamp set. I think it is from one of the new ones, one of the new flowery ones, which I've used several times already. But to get that like distressed look on the robot, I just did a little orange blender. And then when I came in with the Sweet Sorbet. I just did it like super sketchy as I was coloring it. So I left lots of like pieces of white. And again, I just got that idea from looking at robots. Apparently, there's some robot movie out there, and that's what it kind of like. He was red, and he had a lot of distress looking, so you can kind of get an idea of what I did. And then I did a little black line with my Stampin' Right marker also. You kind of see how I did that. All right, so here's what we did tonight. There's my other sample. These were my steampunk. That was the one Jackson chose to show you. And now what I'd like to do is share with you several samples that are made with stamps or tools that are retiring. So this is a video that I did last, I don't know, maybe Monday or Tuesday. Boughs and Blossoms. Really cool leaves and flowers in that. And then here is that mask again, that same mask. And this is DSP that I just put the mask onto. That's a really fun way to make a quick, interesting background also, is use your DSP and then add a mask to it. So here's that same mask and that same embossing folder, that time worn, I think. So this is Dahlia Days. That stamp set sadly is retiring. And here is another Dahlia Days. I don't know if I did a video when I did this. I don't think that I did, because it might have been shortly after I had been in the hospital. But I wanted to do some stamping, and I wanted to use those colors. So that's the larger Dahlia. That one turned out pretty. Here's another one of those with Dahlia Days. And that was before, I think, oh no, I cut this little flower off that stamp, but it's really easy to use again. And then again, just stamping on the DSP, which is really, oh, this isn't stuck on there. I wonder where it goes. I think it goes there. Well, there's the glue dot, so maybe it goes there. Here is another card that I made with that same background stamping that I did. This is the die that I sponged. I used sponge daubers to add ink to the die that comes with the Dahlia Days, coordinates with Dahlia Days. This stamp set is also retiring. Oh, golly. The name is going to escape me, of course. Oh, and those very fun rhinestoney, iridescent rhinestones are so cool. So this is using a couple of different stamps from the same stamp set to make that background. This is from that same stamp set. This may have been a case of someone else's work, but notice how I did the 3 colors, but I don't know, maybe it wasn't. 3 different colors, and then I sponged some extra like orangey color. This is probably a Flirty Flamingo and maybe like Pale Papaya sponged to the center. I think this is Basic Gray. That's a beautiful image. This one I know is definitely cased from someone I made with my friend Lori when she was here visiting and we got to play. She owns that stamp set. Isn't that a fun card? And then this die set is retiring. This one with the tree is sticking around. That I know that the stamp set that has those birds is retiring also, and the trees. So this is another one that was cased from some great stamper. So those birds, this of course has been retired, but the birds and the grass are in that stamp set. But New Horizons, maybe. And again, that same stamp set that's retired, again, something that we cased from another stamper. This, I think, might have been cased from the, no, I think this might be my own design. And this is a lot of cutting out of the DSP, but that definitely is from the stamp set. And this card opens up like this. Fun. And this one has more stamping, which is nice. Out of the way. So these are the stamps. And the XO, and then these circle dotty looking things are in that stamp set. This is really cute. Here I stamped this background by just using both sizes of the hearts and multiple just random stamping, and then doing the different colors to kind of look like the candy hearts. Then here's that Boughs and Blossoms. This video I did recently. I think I also did this background paper, so I haven't made the cards out of it yet, but I did cut the paper up and found some card bases that I liked with it. And I thought it would be cool to stamp the greeting on there and just add a little something, something. This video I did a long time ago, and this, of course, was cased from the catalog, pretty much exactly. Over time, that has gotten crooked, hasn't it? All right, so that is all of the samples, and I thank you very much for watching my video. If there's anything that you learned or any card that you liked, please give me a thumbs up. And until later, bye for now. Let me know if you have any questions about any of this. And if you shop with me online in the month of June, please make sure that if you're not purchasing more than $150, that you use the post code for June. That would really help me out. And I appreciate you. Bye.